Yeah, did you remember anything? What is Java? Okay, now it is a product of, right. Sun is sold to Oracle Corporation. Now Java is a product of Oracle Corporation. Right. So what exactly Java? Right. So when you talk about any language, I said this yesterday, right? So human languages where we can concentrate on grammar and vocabulary. So once you talk about computer languages, we can talk about syntax. Exactly. Right. So we got languages like we started with machine language, then we got assembly language, right? So in assembly language, you'll find the instructions like this. And assembly language will not be understood by your machine, right? So we have a translator called assembler. The role of assembler is to convert assembly language into machine understandable form and vice versa, right? Then we got object oriented languages. So we discussed about the story of procedural languages, object oriented languages, right? So we concentrated on function. What is function? So what is calling function? What is creation of function? We discussed yesterday, right? So we slowly landed with this object oriented language. So why I should switch from C to C++? So once you go with Java, okay. So here C++ is object oriented and Java is also object oriented. So why we have to switch from C++ to Java? Okay. Yeah. So Java supports platform independent. Java supports GUI, and whenever you want to deal with web-based applications, Java is the preferred language. Right. So that is how we landed with the Java. Okay. So we got different versions. So I give the importance of this name Java. Okay. So whatever Java program we write, okay. So we will compile the Java program. So for compiling, we have the Java compiler. Yeah. So once it compiles, it generates a file called .class file. We can take this .class file and we can run on any operating system. It can be Windows or Linux or Mac, whatever the operating system it may be. Java guarantees identical behavior on different platforms. Yeah. Platform is nothing but operating system. Right? Shall we demonstrate this program once? So I can type my program in either Notepad or I can use Edit Plus or Eclipse IDE. Yeah. So wide main, as usual in like language. What is your password? Can you see? No. I'm not able to type. You have a meeting only. Okay. Bye. Now, wide main. Same in case of C and C++ as well as Java. Yeah. Right. Sure. I will call it. So this will be preceded with static keyword. Right. So why I should take this static keyword? Definitely, sir. Static, whenever you take a method with the static keyword, The method can be called directly without using object. Are you clear with this point? When you call any function in Java, we need an object. If you don't have an object, you can use static function, because static function can be called directly without using object. Got it? So, and one more keyword you'll find, public. So in a file, at least we should have one public keyword. So when you go with Java, we can say platform independent. So at least one public keyword is compulsory. So in this main is a function which will hold some values. The values can be called as parameters. So this main function takes string parameters, right? So for displaying the output in C language we use printf. In C++ we use cout. Java we can use print or printf or println. My first Java program. Okay. So in order to display the output, we have a class system.out. System is an inbuilt class which allows, yeah, yeah. Do you know .NET? So there you are going to use console.writeline. There, so there you are using console.writeline. Here you are using system.out.println. Okay. So we have created this main function. So in a class, you can provide variables and methods. Now we are taking a class name as demo, and now in this class we provided the main function. Are you clear with this? Now we are done with the first Java program, which has to display my first Java program, right? So I'll save this, save it into some folder. Let's take so in this demos folder I am saving the program with name as test.java. Can I save like this? File name is test.java. No, .java. Saving with extension is .java. It saves it as .java. I'm saving with .java. When I compile, it generates a file called .class file. Right, I'm saving this one. Now you can see physically on the disk. Right, in the C drive, I place my file in this demos. So I'm removing all these things which are not necessary. I place this file. Right. Now I have to compile this program. You can see in the slide. Right. So whenever I compile the program, then it generates a file called .class file. When you run this .class file, it will give the output. This .class file can be executed on Windows or Linux or Mac, whatever the operating system it may be. So Java guarantees identical behavior on different platforms. Right. Now you can see now we have this Java file. Go to command prompt. Now we are into this command prompt. Now I'm in this folder demos. So move out of all the directories. Go into the folder demo. It's demos, right? Okay, then you compile the program Java C. File name is test.java. Test.java. When I compile, I'll get one more file. Observe here. You got the file. So you got this .class file. This .class file is compatible with any operating system. Right. Now to run this, we have Java class name. The syntax is Java class name. What is the class name here? Got the output? Any doubt in this? No, I did that. Yeah, exactly. Dot class file will be generated with the name of class. Right. So that is how I gave the different names. I gave the class name as demo and file name as test so that you can get a clarity. Right. Now, 10 minutes to solve source file, bytecode, executing. So, same kind of logic is applicable for all these editions. It can be J2SC, J2EE, or J2 mobile applications. So 10 minutes and right. Now, what exactly you'll find inside the dot class file? Did you open the dot class file at any time? You can see this is the code you can see inside the dot class. Right, you will not understand this. This code you can call it as bytecode. If you edit this one, you save this one, you try to run the same program. Will it run? Java demo. No chance. Right. So Java C test.java. Then you run Java. Class name is demo. You got Java. Right. So this is how we compile and run manually. I'm showing it manually. Slowly I can take you to the latest tools. Okay. Now see how we have done. We have written a Java file. We have given it to compiler. The compiler has generated the bytecode. The bytecode is the code just now you have seen. Right. The code present inside the dot class file is called bytecode. Then this will be given to Java interpreter, which converts into native machine code. Right. Now, see, I written some Java file, gave it to the compiler, generated the dot class file. We are given it to this interpreter, converting into zeros and machine. Right. So you can see one more tool. This is a tool which it is nothing but JDK, Java Development Kit. So when you install Java software, so in program files you will find in Java folder you got two things. One is JDK, another is JR. So in the JDK we have bin directory. All these are tools. We use just now Java and Java. Got it? So Java C is Java compiler. Java followed by class name which you are typing is called runtime. Then you are entering into an environment called JRE. What is JRE? Do you know anything about JRE? JRE stands for Java. So JRE stands for Java Runtime Environment. So JRE will be provided with two areas. One is JVM, another is Java API. Right. So JRE stands for Java Runtime Environment. And this JRE consists of two blocks. One is JVM, another is Java API. JVM stands for right Java Virtual Machine. So this JVM contains number of components. Right. Of them first is class loader. It loads the dot class file into memory. So JVM contains number of components. Of them one is class loader, whose role is to load the dot class file into memory. Right. Then you have bytecode verifier. It verifies the code present inside the dot class file. Right. Just now I have shown, I modified the bytecode. Is it running? So that will be taken care by the bytecode verifier. The next is interpreter. Interpreter takes the .class file and converts into native machine code. Right, that is in the form of zeros and ones, as we have seen. Right, so the JVM contains number of components. Of them, these are the three main important components. One is class loader, next is bytecode verifier, and the third is interpreter. Right, so loading, verifying, executing. The three main roles of JVM are loading, verifying, and executing. Loading of .class file into memory. Right, verification of bytecode and converting the .class file into native machine code. That is the role of JVM. Right, now in addition to this, you will find many more components of them. One more is garbage collector. So the role of garbage collector is to reclaim the memory which is not in use. You are going to allot lot of runtime memory. If you are not using that memory, the memory will be collected by this garbage collector. So how it will come to know that you are not using memory for longer period of time? Tejas, you are clear with my question? Uh, See, it follows the concept of mark and sweep methodology. Mark and sweep methodology. Say for example, we have number of locations, memory locations, right? So when you have number of locations, so whatever location you are not using for longer period of time, it starts marking. Say for example, say so let's assume we have some locations, continuous memory locations we have, right? So the location which you are not using for a longer period of time, it starts marking, right? So whichever the location, so as it is marking the locations, the memory inside the JVM gets full. Then it starts reclaiming that location. So this mechanism, you can call it as mark and sweep methodology. So garbage collector uses mark and sweep methodology to reclaim the memory. Clear? Now what exactly is Java API? API stands for yeah, I is an interface. Interface means mediator. Okay, interface is mediator between A means application. In order to develop an application, you need a mediator. The mediator. So how you are writing the application through programming. So what is API? Application Programming Interface. So if you want to program something, you need an interface, right? So how you can get that interface? So you are going to develop an application through programming, so you need an interface. Okay, so that interface is available inside this. Okay, so that is nothing but we call it as packages. So inside the API we have packages. What do you mean by packages again? Right, package is collection of .class files. This .class file will be provided with three areas that are nothing but classes, interfaces, and exceptions. So, learning Java means concentrating on packages, classes, interfaces, exceptions. If you know these four areas, how to make use of it and how to create this, then most of the Java is done. So same kind of, so this three areas of package allows you to work with the three areas of Java like J2SE or J2EE or J2ME. If I want to work on simple Java application, I can make use of J2SE packages. If I want to work at server side, I'll make use of server packages. If I want to work on mobile concepts like SMS, if I want to work on SMS, I'll take SMS package. SMS package will be provided with SMS classes, SMS interfaces, then SMS exceptions. Right? So concentrating on these 4 points makes you flexible with the Java concepts. Clear? Any doubts in this? Right.
Yeah, so I'm copying this file. It will take 8 to 10 minutes. I'll get back to it. Please don't interrupt this file. Don't open any Outlook.
So here you can see JVM roles. Just now I thought, right? Loading, verifying, and exit.
Yeah.
Right? So how we have written, how we have compiled, I told just now.
So,
right?
I need this complete that because of.
So when you write a program,
so,
first thing that comes into picture, that is what? Class.
Yeah. Please don't interrupt this program. Please try to.
What is class?
A lot of trouble is one of the trouble. I'm always facing the trouble. But
so inside the class you can define so this is the structure of a class. Simply speaking, class is a logical structure where you can provide variables and methods. Right. So what is variable? Variable is nothing but a container in your program which is going to hold some value. Right. So when you want to talk about variable which stores the values. So here what I do, I'll write int serial number equal to some number. Right. So here serial number is variable, int is a and 1212 is a value, right? So when you define a variable, you got one more term, that is what? Data type. So how to define a variable? Variable is a container in your program used to hold the data of right. What kind of particular type? The particular type will be decided by your data type. Right? Then what is data type? I wrote it. It reserves the memory for variable. Okay, if I write int, you can store integer values. If I write float, you can hold decimal values. Okay, so based on our requirement, you can take the different data types. Okay, so here we have 8 primitive data types in Java, right? So we have primitive data types, we have derived data types, you can see, or you can see reference types, right? So we have 8 primitive data types: byte, boolean, short, char, int, float, long, and tuple. Okay. Right. So once you talk about this 8 primitive data types, so we have boolean, then you got byte, short, char, then you have float, so these are the 8 primitive data types available here. The size of boolean is only 1 bit and the size of byte is 1 byte, and for short and char it takes 2 bytes of memory. Same over here. Similarly for float, for long and double, right? Now, if I have taken int a, I'm not storing any value. Is it acceptable? If it accepts, what it stores in that a? In Java, it will not store garbage values. It stores default values. Right. So the default value for Boolean is false. Boolean can store either true or false. You take byte, hard, short, or int or long. The default value is 0. Okay. And the default value for float and double is 0.0. And the default value for char is simply space. Okay. Any doubt in this? Right. So, did you install Java in your machine? Is it working? You test it, you run it. Okay. So what I'll do, whatever I'm typing on this notepad, I'll share directly on your Skype ID every day. I'll type it. Based on that, you start working. You will get the flexibility. So whatever doubts you have, you can communicate either to Skype or through mail. Okay. But every day from day one, if you start practicing, then only you'll get the command over the subject. Till you get a strong impression, you start practicing. So once you are able to catch all the things, you will leave also not problem. Right? So do you have any questions? Right. So we'll wind up here only. Tomorrow we'll spend some good time on this. First assignment is to start writing the basic program and compile and run the program. Okay, based on that I'll give some uh, exercises you start solving. So when you compile and run the basic program, you will get lot of doubts which I will prepare. Okay, I'll give it to you. You start working on that. Right? See you then tomorrow. Bye bye. You want? Yeah. Okay, no problem. You just ping on me on the Skype. Okay. Right. See you then. Yeah, I'm listening. Where you want on weekends? No, weekdays only. Weekdays only.